earlier this year, I had about $20,000 saved in my emergency fund. And then tax season hit. In March alone, I had used almost $18,000, which basically reset me back to zero. But in just 5.5 months, I built that emergency fund back to $10,000. And in this video, I'm gonna break down the exact steps I took so that you can follow them too, even if you're starting from zero. Hey y'all, welcome back to Level Up with Keeks, where we talk money, mindset, and building your soft, wealthy life. Today, I'm gonna be walking you guys through the 5 steps I used to rebuild my emergency fund back to $10,000 after spending almost $18K this year. If you guys wanna follow along in real time, all of the products that I mention here are linked in my stanstore, so you can go ahead and visit that if you guys wanna use the emergency fund calculator or any of the other tools that I mentioned. I'll post it in my description, but also in my comments, so go ahead and check that out. First things first, you've got to know your number. Now, when it comes to an emergency fund, if you are starting from zero, I break the goal down into 2. The first goal is always $1,000. This is your stop the bleeding money. If there's a vet visit you have to take, if your car breaks down, if you get sick and you need to take days off work and you're American, I don't know how that works, and maybe you need some money to cover yourself and have to pay for medication, that is what the $1,000 is for. If you are starting from zero, that should be your first goal, is just getting $1,000 set up in your emergency savings fund. Once you hit that $1,000 target, it almost acts as a proof of concept for you to know that if you can do it 1,000, you just need to repeat the steps until you get to whatever your target number is for your emergency fund. The next step is your full emergency fund. This is anywhere from 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, and that is your peace of mind money, your peace of mind buffer, to know that if something was to happen that is bigger, such as let's say job loss, you would be covered and you'd be able to make your day-to-day payments without having to rely on debt right away. I'm going to show you guys my emergency fund calculator, which you can get for free in my stanstore, so that you can see how easy it is for you guys to figure out exactly what your number is. So quickly, we're going to jump over to my stanstore so I can show you guys how to get the emergency fund calculator. This is my laptop. Obviously, if you're going by mobile, it's going to look a little bit different. But if you scroll down to my freebies section, we have a new Get Your 5 Soft Life Money Habits guide free. So get that guide if you're looking to shift into your soft money life. It's got just simple habits and mindset shifts that I've used to start the shift from scarcity to abundance. But we're talking about my emergency fund right now, so let's go over there. Once you've entered your name and your email, you'll get a download prompt in your email, and that will take you to the tracker. Cool, we're in there. So here's what you're gonna do from this point. I made it in a bunch of different currencies like yen, pounds, dollars. So wherever you're tuning in from, hopefully I got your currency, but you might be able to change it as well within the tracker. So in using the emergency fund calculator, what are the steps you need to go to? I made it super simple. So basically all you need to do is determine your baseline amount, your basic necessities that you need in your life. And from there, you've pretty much done half the work. So step 1, fill in the current needs. As you guys can see here, I've filled in a bunch of sort of categories of expenses that you could run into. I've also left open fields if there is something unique that is pertaining to you that you want to add and it is a must-have, you can add it here. We quickly run through it. Let's say your mortgage is in what world? $1,500 a month. Your condo fees are $400. Let's say your internet's included, but your phone bill's $50. Let's say your parents pay property taxes, so you're fine there. Actually, no, let's throw it in. $300 a month there. You've got bank fees of $10. Groceries usually cost you about $300 a month. You gotta eat. So that you wanna factor into your emergency fund. You need to eat, you need to have water, literally to survive. So factor that in. Insurance, if you got it, love it. Any other pet essentials, you gotta feed your cat, don't be that guy. Let's say you have daycare, babysitter, not expenses that are in my life. Thoughts and prayers to you if they are in your life, because I can only imagine, I've heard from some people, it's getting so expensive for daycare, I can't even believe it. Menstruation essentials, if you're me and get periods and they're very heavy, it's gonna have to go into my emergency. It's gonna have to be buffered for, let's just say. So $50 a month. Skincare, memberships, anything that is a must-have, okay? Once you've totaled all that up, the rest is auto-populated. So if we just slide over to step 2, for step 2, everything else from here is pretty much auto-calculated. Based on what you've entered in step 1, everything auto-populates and you can see what your number is, what your big goal number is, depending on how much of a buffer you're working towards. So like I said, your first goal is always $1,000. But moving over, let's say you hit that $1,000, this will show you what 1 month of savings, 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months of savings would look like to meet your basic needs and build an emergency fund. So if you were trying to go from 1,000 to just covering a month of your expenses, and you had the random expenses I put, your new goal number would be 2,730. If you wanted 3 months of expenses covered, it would be $8,190. If you're looking for 6 months because you're like, you know what, I might be traveling, I might be doing this, I don't know, and the economy's crazy, your number is $16,000, and so on and so forth. So whatever you do enter is going to impact what that 1, 3, 6, and 9 month goal numbers look like. So that's step 1, you've got your target number. Step 2 is about creating the plan. Now, this emergency fund calculator that's in my stanstore that you guys can use already helps you figure out your must-have expenses. It's as simple as your income minus your must-have expenses equals what's left to save. Now here's the key. Building your emergency fund has to be your number 1 priority. If you have no emergency fund, this needs to be the top of your to-do list, your number 1 goal this year, this next quarter, however long you think it's gonna take you to get that number built and saved and set up. I thought she was scratching something, but like she starts licking herself and she gets so wet, it makes this, oh, she knows we're talking about it. It makes this gross sound. Right, that's your number 1 priority when you're not getting distracted by your cat. Building your emergency fund has to be number 1. That means you need to re-identify what is truly a necessity in your life versus what can go on pause while you build your emergency fund. If you guys saw in my emergency fund tracker, there's things that maybe you think are a little bit outlandish, such as skincare or going to the gym or whatever. But the reason I put those categories in is because it genuinely has to do with what is essential for you. So for me, a home cleaner, if I'm really cutting it down, not essential at all. Gym might be an essential for people. If getting outside and going and getting your workout in and moving your body is important for your mental health, that might be a non-negotiable. For me, I'm canceling that. Yeah, I'm getting the money back and I'm putting that towards my emergency fund. So you really need to think about what is a true need for you versus what is something you could maybe put on pause while you build that emergency fund. So now that you have the plan, aka your income minus your must-have expenses, what's left to save, you will want to track it and work on your own way of tracking this so that you build your emergency fund. I use the Coplenty Yearly Budget 2.0 tracker to make this really simple. It shows me based on how much I contribute each month, each year, to what exact categories I'm contributing and maybe overspending in that I need to cut back on. And there's also a savings tracker that will tell me how long it'll take me to reach my goal, depending on how much I'm contributing per month. So yeah, I love it because it's helped keep me motivated when I see the number of months to reach my goal keep going down and the progress bar showing me I'm 75% along the way. That's helped me to really stick to it, but that is a big part of your plan. You know what is left to save. Now where are you gonna track actually saving it? So if you guys are interested in using the Yearly Budget 2.0 tracker like I do, it's linked to my stanstore, but make sure you figure that out because it's super important. All right, step number 3 is to designate the account. Now once you got your plan, you know where you're gonna be tracking, you know how much is left to save and what your goal is to save every single month based on what the difference is, you need to set up a designated emergency fund account. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, do not sue me, but I personally set up my emergency fund account in a high interest savings account. Why? 1, it keeps the day-to-day expenses separate from my emergency funds, so nothing, literally nothing touches the emergency funds, nothing comes out of it, simply money goes in there, right? Number 2, a high interest savings account lets you accrue interest on the money that's sitting in that account while it sits there. So because I know I'm building an emergency account that is effectively just gonna sit down and wait for an emergency to happen, I'm glad to know that it's gonna be sitting pretty and earning interest while it's sitting there. Lastly, you want your money, personally, to be liquid. Liquid meaning easily accessible. If you go buy a bunch of stocks with your emergency funds, not only is that really volatile and maybe you'll end up losing money at the time the emergency happens, but it also might take a business day if you needed it on the weekend, or it might take some time for you to actually get the money into your pockets. With a high interest savings account, they basically act as another checking account, so the money, just as instantly as it goes into your savings account, can come out for you to use for said emergency. Now, if you don't already have one, I'm gonna leave my Wealth Simple referral link. That is where I house my emergency fund account. That's where my emergency fund sits. Nice and pretty. You can see so far, it's September 5th as I record this, I've earned $2 in interest so far. And that is what I like to see because the money's not going anywhere anyways. So I might as well make a free $2. It ends up being about 17 bucks a month actually with the amount that I've currently got that gets accrued into my account from simply sitting there and existing. So imagine getting an extra $20 just for keeping your money sitting exactly where it's supposed to be. It's a no-brainer. Now, Wealthsimple has a 2% summer match promotion going. So if you use my referral link, which I have noted in my stanstore, you will be able to get up to a 2% price match, contribution match, for money contributed into your account. There's terms and conditions. They're all noted if you click on the referral link. But long story short, it's free money. And we love free money, period. There's no but. We just free money. Okay, sometimes there's a but. But in this case, it's free money. You're opening up your emergency fund savings account, and whatever you deposit to get started, could be matched up to 2% by Wealthsimple. I love it. No more needs to be said. So if you've been putting off that emergency fund account, this is your sign right now. Go to my stanstore, set up that account. It takes 2 seconds. That's why I love Wealthsimple. But if you have a preferred bank, set that up yourself. I like Wealthsimple because I get to put all these like emojis, but a lot of the banks have updated as well. So you don't have to use this link, but you do need to set up a designated emergency fund account. Okay, this step, arguably one of the most important steps if you actually want to consistently build your emergency fund savings or any savings goal. If it's a sinking fund, if it's RSP contributions, anything that you're like, this is such a priority for me, this step right here, don't skip it. You need to automate your contributions. I've said it 100 times. I'm not gonna say it again. If you wait until the end of the month to see what's left, there's not gonna be anything left. Take it from me. If you guys are not new to this channel, you know I do a bunch of payday routines, budget with me's. You can see the playlist up here. There have been months where I was supposed to put $600 towards my emergency fund, $400, whatever the price may be that I set. And the month came and went and I didn't set up anything automated. I thought trusty brain was gonna remind me to hold $400 aside while I'm spending and living my best life. And sure as ever, every single month that I did not have it automated, I forgot to actually put money into my emergency fund account. I don't know why I even thought that I could. It's not even a matter of if you can or not, because of course you can. You can manually do it, set up a calendar, reminder, set up a bunch of alarms, but why make your life harder when you can make it easier? You need to pay yourself first, and automating is the only way, maybe not, but automating is the best way to ensure that you always pay yourself first. So I'm gonna quickly demonstrate how to do that on Wealthsimple through the app. Let me quickly screen record here. 3, 2, 1, and we're live. Okay, going into the Wealthsimple app, you'll see that there's an option to automate your pay. Basically, this splits your paycheck between accounts. So the best thing about this is, like it's saying, automate your pay. If you have a consistent paycheck, Wealthsimple will look for that amount deposited before it splits the money into whatever accounts you're looking to do. So that's honestly a really good piece, because if your paycheck isn't as consistent, let's say you get paid monthly, let's say you get paid variable, you can let Wealthsimple know, hey, this is me getting my money. Every time this shows up in my account, make sure you go slide another 200 from there into my emergency fund savings or whatever the amount is. So it's as simple as clicking on the ... selecting to automate your pay. As you guys can see here, I've already got my 2 set up. So every paycheck, a certain amount's going into my emergency fund and a certain amount is going into my RSP managed portfolio. If you want to create an automation, you simply click and do it to buy crypto. If you're looking to your investments, you could buy stocks and ETFs, or you can transfer your money. Once clicking that, you let them know what account you want to transfer it to, what amount you'd like to have transferred every time that pay hits. You hit next to allocate it. It's that simple. It don't get simpler. So it doesn't have to be huge. It can be 50 bucks, 100 bucks. As you saw for me, it's about 400 bucks or 600. It depends on the day. Like, I've had to shift some things around. The point is, every paycheck adds up, and the consistency is going to help you reach your goal, whether it be 1,000, 1 month of savings, 9 months of savings, that much faster. And the best part about it is that in rebuilding this fund to the 10K mark that I've reached, it's basically like I'm funding my emergency fund in my sleep, because when paycheck hits, it's usually over midnight. So while I'm sleeping, my payday comes in and Wealthsimple says, yeah, you're coming with me, puts it in my emergency funds. And so by the time I wake up and I look at my checking account, whatever number I see there is after I've taken care of myself, is after I've paid myself first and touched on and allocated money to my highest priority items. Chef's kiss. All right, step number 5 is to track and celebrate your wins. Here's the thing, saving can feel slow and kind of boring if you don't make it tangible. That's why tracking has been so fun for me, is because it gives me proof that I'm actually contributing and making progress towards my financial goals. Every time I add money into my emergency fund, I log it into the Coplenty tracker. You guys can take a look at my September payday video. It's the exact same thing. Every time it comes in, I track it, and I get to watch, because it also has the savings and debt tracker tab, I get to watch myself getting that much closer to reaching my savings goals. I love it because it doesn't just show me the numbers, it gives me visuals. I'm a very visual girl. I like a pie chart, I like a line chart, I like a dot chart, I like it all. And it also helps me see a timeline. So I can use it as a worksheet to say, okay, well, if I upped my savings to this, when would I hit my goal? Or if I know what date I want to hit the goal by, I can adjust the numbers to see how much of my contributions is going to get me there. So I love that I can actually work through my thoughts and use the tool and use the tracker to get where I need to be financially. So yeah, those visual reminders and the ability to work on this tracker has helped The ability to work on this tracker has helped me to stay focused, stay aligned, and honestly, it's never slipped my mind once that I'm building my emergency fund. So I feel like it's kept me on par with what my goals are, and that's why I've been able to accumulate what I have so quickly. And honestly, it would have been quicker if I had automated my savings. Now, it's just as important that you celebrate every milestone when it comes to saving towards a big goal, because it can be boring, like we said. And if you got the ADHD, you need a little bit of serotonin, you need that dopamine hit every now and again. So set up little rewards so that you can feel good about what you're doing and continue doing it until it just becomes second nature habit. So if you hit your first deposit, celebrate. Even if it's 50 bucks, celebrate putting the first deposit into your emergency fund savings account. This girl, Josie Bell. Absolutely ridiculous. If you reach the starter 1K fund, celebrate that shit. And then every extra 1K that you stack, celebrate it. Because these little wins are what keep you motivated to keep going, to keep pushing towards your goal. And remember, the emergency fund isn't about perfection. It's literally just about building your safety net. It's you looking out for future you, and you're gonna be so happy that you did it. So it's super important that you stick to it so that something happens, because life literally happens. You don't have to go crazy. You can actually take a sigh of relief and be like, oh yeah, past being looked out for me, and she's got 10K waiting in this account, just sitting and accruing interest for moments like this. That's how I felt with my taxes. First I was like, damn, I gotta spend $18,000. But I was like, wow, how amazing is it that I had 20K set aside for an emergency and I got to use it on an emergency. Like, that's exactly what it's for. This is what it's about, okay? Moving on. Talking a little bit about my journey building it back. I have, if you've watched my payday routines, moved budget around, cut places, done a whole bunch to make sure that I was prioritizing my emergency funds, especially when I noticed after a couple months that I wasn't moving the funds into my emergency funds like I needed to. Taking the steps to automate it and keeping myself on track to remind myself has made it possible for me to hit this 10K. My goal is to have 25K, which was gonna be what? Let me just see why 25K was my goal. 1 second. Okay, yeah. My goal was to hit 25K because I'm looking to save about 6 months of expenses. But if I want to get my minimum buffer of 3 months, I only have to hit $12,900. And I say only because I'm already at 10K. So personally, I'm gonna adjust my goal to be 3 months as my first goal and continue building after that. Because genuinely, if you follow me, if you're not new to this channel, a big goal of mine is to quit my 9 to 5 by the end of this year. So come hell or high water, I'm trying to move on. So whatever is gonna be in my emergency funds account at that point is what I'm gonna take. I don't want there to be any blocks to me doing it. And I had liked to have done 6 months. We can still get there. The night is young, the year is young, but we're definitely hitting that 3-month buffer. And that is the validation I need to know we are good to take the leap. So that's very exciting. And now if something unexpected happens, I don't panic because I know I've got myself covered. So that's a little bit about how I rebuilt my emergency fund to 10K. And those are the steps, the survival guide on how you're gonna build your emergency fund starting from literally nothing. If you made it to this point of the video, we are almost at the end. A quick recap of the products and tools that you're gonna wanna use to get your emergency fund started. Number 1, head to my StanStore, grab the free emergency fund calculator tool if you haven't done so already, and figure out what your target number is. If you're starting from 0, your target number is 1,000, but still download it to figure out once you hit 1,000, what your next goals might look like. Number 2, if you are not tracking your money as of yet and you wanna start doing that to keep yourself consistent and have basically payday budget routines like I do, I use the Yearly Budget 2.0 tracker from Coplenty. You can also find that in my stanstore. And make sure you subscribe because I do these payday budget resets, which you can do with me to make sure that you are tracking your expenses and hitting your savings goals. And step 3, if you know your mindset has been a major obstacle holding you back from starting your savings or building your financial wealth, grab my 7-day Money and Mindset Makeover Workbook. It's gonna help you to break free from that scarcity mindset and start to lean into the abundance that you deserve, baby. You deserve to be rich. You deserve to be wealthy. Say that out loud. Say it, feel uncomfortable, and say it until you stop feeling uncomfortable, okay? Now, lastly, I wanna hear from you guys. Where are you at in your emergency fund journey? Are you starting from zero? If so, congrats. Let me know in the comments. Have you fully funded it and maybe you're moving to the next milestone, or are you switching now because it's filled into some other investment ideas? Let me know where you're at and what you guys are doing and how your emergency fund journey is going. No matter what stage you're at, you're helping to build your financial security net and therefore your financial freedom. So cheers to you. I'm proud of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.